Let's now learn how to change promises in order to also render the neighboring country of the initial country that we give to the function. And actually we already have a small chain of promises because of this JSON function. And so here, these two things called in sequence are basically already a small chain. But anyway, in this video, we will now take a chain into a new level and actually chain together two sequences it just calls. So just like before, we first get the data about the country. So that's the part that we already hear. But then we also want to get the data about the neighboring country. And so again, the second is just call depends on the data from the first call. And so they need to be done in sequence. So let's simply modify what we already have here. And so the second is just call basically needs to be happen here in this then handler. So as soon as we get the data, then we need to get the neighbor country and do the ages call for that one as well. So let's get the neighbor, and then we already know that it is at data 0 at borders, and then also first one. And just like before, let's say if there's no neighbor, then return immediately. And actually this is not going to work, but never mind about this for now. And so let's do the second ages call. Let me just get the URL from here. And so we use the fetch, and then URL is a neighbor. So let's call it country 2. This is country 1. For now, this is not going to do anything because what we need to do now is to actually return this new promise. Because then when we do that, we will be able to change a new then method or result of this then method. So that is a bit similar to what we did here with the JSON method, which remember also return to promise. And so we return all of that promise here, and then we can change new then method on that as well. So actually the then methods always return a promise no matter if we actually return anything or not. But if we do return a value, then that value will become the fulfillment value of the return promise. So let me actually show that to you. Let me just return 23. And so then when I change the new then method here, so let's say data, and then let's allow that data. Let's see. And then indeed we get 23. And so again that happens because what about return from this promise here will become the fulfilled value of the promise. And so this here it returns a promise. And so we can handle using the then method. And the fulfilled value, the success value basically of the promise will be the value that will return it from this then method. And so that is this 23 here. And so therefore the next then method, then the data here will be 23. So it is 23 because this value is 23. So again this data that we receive here as an output to the function is the fulfilled value of the promise that we are handling. And so again that is this value 23 that we are returning from the this then method here. And so by doing this, so by returning this promise here, then the fulfilled value of the next then method will be fulfilled value of this previous promise. But what we need to understand is that basically this then methods here returns a new promise. And we can then one more time handle the success value of that promise. And so one more time I'm calling this now a response because we are dealing with the fulfilled value of a fetch promise. And so that is a response. And so here one more time we need to call the JSON method. And so here again the fulfilled value of the promise will become that body, and so the data that is stored in the body. And then we can again handle that. So data like this, and then render country with the data. And then here again we pass in that CSS class for the neighbor. And that should already be it.